Dear viewers, thank you very much for play this video. I have appeared in front of you today again. Today I will present an instructional video for beginners. My topic today is about bracketing photography definition and techniques and basic concepts of animation. Watch this video carefully and you will benefit even a little bit. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe. Have you ever had only a few seconds to capture the perfect image because the sunlight was fading of the sunset, or maybe the clouds were moving from that perfect position, and you look down at your camera only to be disappointed with a completely underexposed image. But when you look up, that moment is gone. Fortunately, there's a way to capture these moments to ensure you get the shoot. It's called bracketing photography. In this article, we will break down how to do bracketing in photography so that you can get the perfect shot. Exposure bracketing explained. Bracketing is a tool that can be helpful in so many ways, but there is a time and place for it. To understand when it should be used, you must first understand what bracketing is and how it works. Let's break down the bracketing photography definition. Bracketing is the process of shooting the same image, shoot or seen multiple times using different camera settings, resulting in different exposures. Cinematographers and photographers either bracket the camera's aperture, ISO, or shutter speed for varying exposure. Bracketing in DSLR cameras has become easier and more accessible to all photographers due to new in camera technology. Types of bracketing. Bracketing can come in a few different forms, but its guiding idea remains the same. You take a series of the same photo with different settings and then blend in post to utilize the best of all the options. Let's take a look at some of the types of bracketing. Exposure bracketing. This is usually what people are referring to when they say bracketing. For the most part, exposure bracketing uses a differing shutter speed. Exposure bracketing is fantastic for situations with a large dynamic range. Some objects are in dark shadows, others are in direct sunlight. Of course, exposure also refers to ISO and aperture, so both of those elements can be shifted in this type of bracketing. Depth of field bracketing. Depth of field bracketing is a bit more tricky. Here you take multiple photos with different DOFs achieved through different apertures. The difficulty comes in post. Blending different depth of fields can be harder than blending exposure. Still, it's possible and it can give you a lot of control over what's in soft focus and what's sharp. Focus bracketing. With focus bracketing, you have control over what's in and out of focus, but it's done by taking a series of photos where your focus is pulled to a different distance from the lens. This is especially useful when you want a photo that appears to have a shallow depth of field, but your subjects are at different distances from the camera. White balance bracketing. You are probably catching on at this point. With white balance bracketing, you are bracketing white balance. simple enough. But why would you ever need to do this? This bracketing is primarily used when you have multiple types of light sources in your frame. Say, for example, you have an interior shoot lit by incandescent lights, but there's also a window and you want to capture the sunlit exterior as well. You are dealing with different color temperatures, so you will need to white balance bracket. In that situation, you would probably also want an exposure bracket the sun is since the sun is much stronger than artificial lights. Flash bracketing, to flash or not to flash, that is the eternal question. With flash bracketing, you can do both. Take a photo with a flash, then take one without it, and use the best of both. Alternatively, you can bracket flashes of varying strengths. Exposure is essentially in image making. Every photographer and cinematographer should internalize how to use the exposure triangle. You cannot just point and shoot a camera and expect a perfect picture. This is where your skills come in. Before get into the do and don'ts for bracketing photography, download your free ebook on the ultimate guide to exposure. Then you can approach any lighting scenario with the tools necessary to capture the perfect picture everywhere. When to use photo bracketing? No matter how experienced you are in photography, you will inevitably make a mistake in how you expose an image. There are numerous factors that can lead to underexposed images and overexposed images, and when you are shooting something extremely important that cannot be recaptured, photo bracketing is a low risk, high reward tool to use. For example, landscape photography that relies on just moments of the perfect sunlight at golden hour can make for a high stakes shoot. Bracketing the camera's aperture, ISO, or shutter speed can help you play it safe and capture the image correctly when time or light is not on your side. Bracketing photography can also be used to merge photos of the same image with different exposures. This is known as exposure bracketing photography. Sometimes this is the only way to capture the image you have in mind. Some scenes that you shoot will inevitably have highlights that are blown out if exposed for the shadows and vice versa. With photo bracketing, you can merge images in which the shadows and highlights from two different photos merge to form one image that you envisioned. Sometimes this is the only way to capture proper exposure. When not to use photo bracketing? Because bracketing photography involves taking multiple shots with one press of the shutter, it should be used with caution when shooting fast moving subjects such as in sporting events or even wildlife. It is important to understand fundamental bracketing techniques before shooting. If you plan on merging your image to create a perfectly exposed image, merging images with moving subject will result in an image that looks more like a double exposure. Shooting moving images can also result in missing the shot of the perfect action. In sports photography, for instance, where the ideal action should last only a matter of milliseconds, bracketing photos can cause you to under or overexpose the perfect shoot. If there is any mistake in my video, please comment. Any comments will make my way easier. Your valuable comments will motivate me to make new videos. Thank you for watching my video. Like and subscribe my channel. See you soon again next tutorial.